Today I fucked up by accidentally being topless when the DoorDash delivery guy made his delivery. Just happened. Husband and I wanted something sweet after dinner but didn't want to go pick anything up. Decide to order DoorDash and treat ourselves to something sweet. We are also parents of a toddler who sometimes gets the zoomies before bedtime. Tonight he decides to race from one room to the next at full toddler speed. An important thing to know about our son is he has a bit of reflux and asthma, and these things together can sometimes cause him to throw up when he gets too worked up, or after lots of activity. After all the running, he starts to make his gag face and proceeds to expel his dinner everywhere. I help him to the toilet so he can finish. The aftermath consists of puke on dad, puke on kid, and puke on bathroom. I decide in this moment I should probably take off my shirt. Not for funsies, but to keep it clean. As I work on the mess, I start to dry heave, so I rush to finish. I am now topless, gagging and carrying a pile of vomit rags to the trash can when I stop dead in my tracks. A person is staring at me through our side door window. I totally forgot about the DoorDash delivery in all the craziness. I, caught off guard, scream bloody murder, cover my chest with disgusting puke rags and run away. Meanwhile DoorDash dude is outside knocking on the door, wondering what kind of weird ass fetish these people have to order delivery, walk around half naked then scream at them. Eventually he calls my husband to make sure he is in the right place. The poor kid continuously apologizes to my husband for catching me topless, and holding a metric ton of vomit. My husband thinks the situation to be amusing. Me, not as much. Sorry DoorDash dude, I promise it was unintentional. Too long didn't read, ordered delivery. Kid exorcised his demons everywhere. Took shirt off to clean. Gave DoorDash dude a filthy show. Delivery guy now scarred. When my son was about 2 weeks old, UPS delivered the copies his birth certificate I had bought. Of course, with breastfeeding a 2-week-old and hardly sleeping, I was walking around topless and half asleep a lot of the time. I hear a knock at the door and I thought he would drop off the envelope and leave. Of course what I didn't realize was it was a signature required delivery. So I'm sitting there, baby latched on, and threw a burp rag over myself to try and cover up. As soon as I open the door, the rag falls, baby unlatches and starts screaming. I'm trying to sign the thing and my boob is just flopping around leaking milk, and this poor delivery guy sees everything. He apologized, trying his best not to look. I apologize. He hands me the envelope and leaves. This guy is still the main UPS delivery guy for our neighborhood. We often see each other when my son, the dog, and I are out on walks, and he's driving his delivery route. He smiles and waves at me and I die a little inside every time. This is one of those things that you'll eventually be able to look back on and laugh, I bet. And honestly, there isn't a lot you can do about it anyhow, so absolutely. I was mortified at first, but definitely realize how absurd the situation is and have laughed about it now. Smiley face. I love this, thanks for the laugh, though I'm sorry it was a hell of an experience for you. Happy to make other people laugh over my misfortune. Lol. I mean, in your personal reality, it was a massive fuck up. You gave your DoorDash guy a very interesting experience, though. You probably brightened his day, giving him an hour at least to mull over the experience and just be like, what the fuck? Honestly, I understand the shame you feel. Look at the bright side, though. You'll probably never see this person again, and if you do, you can share a hearty laugh over the absurdity. I mean, if his gay wasn't bright enough before, it sure is now. Smiley face. How was the dessert? It was delicious. Helped take my mind off my embarrassment, thankfully. Today I fucked up by flushing my used condoms. This happened back in high school, which was a while ago. I won't tell you how long ago, but it was not this century. I grew up in a small town on the outskirts of a big city. It was kinda the best of both worlds, a small town where everyone knew everyone, but all the amenities a big city had to offer just a 20-minute drive away. Our home was older and had a septic tank, it was not connected to the municipal water system. Newer homes were connected as they were built. Our neighbors on either side were, but we had water trucked in every week or so and our poop trucked out every couple of years. There was a girl in town I knew my whole life and we got paired up once for a school project in junior high. Our friendship blossomed, we started dating in high school, eventually marrying and are still together. During high school we were, of course, sexually active, extremely sexually active. Every day we would get home from school at 4:15 p.m. and we knew had the house to ourselves until 5:10 p.m. when my mother came home from the law office. She was the receptionist at. We made the most of our 55 minutes, used a condom every time and flushed it every time. Now if you have ever visited, say, someone's lake cottage on a septic system, you often see novelty signs in the bathroom about conserving resources. My mom put up a sign above our toilet that said, "If it's yellow let it mellow, if it's brown flush it down." Essentially we avoided flushing unless you took a dump. You know how growing up everyone's dad would hound them about leaving on lights? I grew up having to justify every toilet flush, as in, coming out of the bathroom having flushed the toilet and my dad is standing there. "Why did you flush the toilet? Was it necessary? You know water costs an arm and a leg." "Well Dad, I took a big dump, but thanks for checking." But I digress. So we had sex every day after school, on the weekends if we could swing it, and summer holidays were a bang fest. Sorry honey. I was buying condoms in 10 packs and carefully disposing of the packaging and flushing the doobies every time. On Saturday morning a big truck comes to our house with the words, "Rooty Toot Tooters, we're number 1 at number 2" boldly emblazoned upon the sides. Two scruffy carny types started pumping 5 years of our poop out of the tank with a vacuum pump. It's interesting to watch for 2 minutes, then I go inside. About 15 minutes later there is a big ruckus outside. I guess the Rooty truck has slurped up something it can't handle and is choking. Carny guys have to partially dismantle the suction head and out pops a huge congealed mass about the size of a basketball, which lands on the lawn. Grinning carny guy kicks it and it bursts open, revealing it is made of hundreds of congealed condoms. My mother is just beside herself and wonders out loud how long that has been in there. In her mind it is obviously from the previous owners, even though we have been there for over 20 years at that point. My dad doesn't say a word and I avoid eye contact, although I swear he had grin on his face. Carny guys go back to sucking poop and we don't speak of it again. Until our wedding over 8 years later. During the speeches, Dad has had a few cocktails and he regales our 150 dinner guests with the whole story, much to the chagrin of both our mothers. TL, doctor flushed a condom a day for 5 years and backed up the septic system. Mother doesn't hear the truth until the wedding. For some reason I read that as the carny guy was speaking at your wedding, and was suddenly more interested in that story. Looking back, that is exactly how I wrote it. Carny guys go back to sucking poop. This is an A+ phrase taken out of context. Just because it can be flushed down a toilet because it fits doesn't mean it should be flushed down a toilet. Same goes for flushable wet wipes. Never flush those. The fact that your dad held that a secret for 8 goddamn years is priceless. I'm guessing he was going to say it if you guys broke up, but being able to reveal it at your wedding, instead, is the ultimate dad move. Props to Pops. If it makes you feel better, the plumbers had probably seen that hundreds of times, and your septic system was likely already full anyways. Also, I'm sorry your dad was a water nut, mine was as well, and now that I own a home, water is exceedingly cheap. Ike, less than a penny a gallon. I use like 7 ccf of water per month, on a heavy month. I also don't water my lawn because that is a waste. A utility provider charges a whopping $4.22 per ccf. A ccf is about 750 gallons of water. Today I fucked up by using the wrong razor. It's lockdown, pubs are closed, and I missed the window for getting a haircut at a barber's. After about a week, I decided to have a go at it myself and got my trimmer. I was making good progress until it ran out of charge. My mum said no problem, you can use your dad's. So I get a razor out my dad's cupboard and continue. End result was alright, sides were passable on a low resolution camera and bangs were pretty decent. Tough, my mum sorted that. The back was a total mess, but it's not like I'd be doing any Zoom calls facing backwards, so whatever. This works out pretty well for a few days until today, where my dad called me up, holding the shaver I used. He said, "Alright Nick, for future reference, this is the one I shave my ball sack with." With the benefit of hindsight, I should probably have looked to see if there were any others. Too long, didn't read. Shaved my head with the ball sack razor. Insert Manscaped ad. The correct response was, "Sorry dad, used the other one on my balls." Did anyone else read this as, "Pubes are closed? Replace your head"? I had a similar experience, but it was used by my mum and her partner for pubes. I'd also just shaved my beard with it.